really an indication of how far this Alabama team has come under Nate Oats.
Most prolific three-point shooting team in the country. Alabama raining down the threes.
You got to credit this Alabama defense. They get back, they grind, they're right up in you. 6 triples in the first 4 minutes.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Nate Oats Show, brought to you by Tri-Green Equipment, along with the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm Chris Stewart. Coach, you're 2/3 of the way through, as you and I visit here, the toughest stretch maybe of the entire season, with the game against Baylor and now Auburn in the rearview mirror. Kentucky's still to come, but good grief, it's as tough as advertised.
Yeah, I mean, all three are in the top 5 when we played them, so we got to bring it. Thought we did a great job against Baylor. You know, Auburn's #1 team in the country. Need to play a little bit better on the road at their place, but you know, hopefully we get them again in the SEC tournament. I didn't think we played as good a game as we did at our place against them, but you know, the Baylor game was big, so trying to get 2 out of the 3 now. So
right.
we've got to split in the first 2, but that's somebody told me it's the toughest 3 game, or the first time since 2009. I think Rutgers played 3 straight top 5 teams in the regular season. So it's been a long time since anybody in the country's played 3 straight top 5 teams.
Well, as you said, 2/3 of it out of the way, and it started off in great fashion in Tuscaloosa. Jahvon Quinerly, tremendous coaching, leading the way against the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good. I thought he came out locked in, ready to play. His explosiveness, his energy, I thought it started with his defensive energy. You know, he was up into Kenjo. I mean, I thought he dominated the matchup with Kenjo for the majority of the game. I'm not sure that Kenjo scored on him. I know he switched a little bit and Kenjo got something late, but I really liked his defensive intensity. Shaq's been good on the defensive end. He shot the ball. You know, he didn't necessarily shoot it as well as maybe what he had been shooting, but he's still able to generate 19 points, even though he only went 1 of 7 for 3. You know, he does so much other stuff well too.
9 boards, almost had the double-double.
Yeah.
Juwan Gary coming back, really playing well for you, Coach.
Yeah, no, Juwan, it was good to get him back. He's got the mask on, what you want to call him, Batman or whatever, but he's at the rim. You know, I think he went 7 of 8 from the game that night. The one he missed, he probably makes that 90% of the time. So he did a great job. Our guards did a good job finding him, JD and Quinerly both. So it's good to have him back. I mean, he gives us he's different than what we had in the, you know, he's a little stronger, more physical, slashing, finishing at the rim well. JD was good this game too. You know, he had 14, 5, and 4, so I thought it was a good overall game. You know, he's playing a little more loose, a little more explosive, coming downhill. You know, I thought showed his athleticism there at the end a little bit.
Stretches as of late, Coach, where he looks like one of the best freshmen in America, then stretches where he looks like a freshman.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, and just the consistency, the intensity, you know, we got to get better at that. But he's definitely skilled enough, athletic enough. He's playing hard. He's he's making plays when he's locked in. We just got to get him to lock in on the defensive end all the time. I think when he's really locked in, he's just playing explosive, getting downhill to the rim. It was great. The student section was really, that Baylor game, first official sellout of the year, what they told me. It was loud in there. So you've done this a long time. It's probably the loudest I've heard it since I've been here, but the crowd was great that game.
It was loud, biggest crowd to see a game in the state of Alabama this season, and it was a tremendous turnout as the Tide knocks off the Bears 87-78. A lot of fun there. We will see more of it as we check out some of the highlights from the Crimson Tide's win over top 5 Baylor.
Alabama's in the middle of arguably the toughest 3-game set for any team at any point in the country.
The energy, all right, the attitude, the effort. We're bringing nothing but energy and effort. Fight for each other. Fight for me. Fight for each other tonight. We're going to come out on top. Show the love we got as a team, all right? They got to feel us. They got to feel Alabama tonight as a unit.
Alabama on its home floor controls.
This over, goes left to the rack, hands it off, and Gary gets a plunge.
Whoa, make an impact. J.D. Davison.
Sit back, JQ, 3. Oh, he's hot right now, folks. Lays it up and in. What a move by JQ. Ball batted away, taken away by Shaq. Ahead to Keon. Look out. Throws it home, and Bama, it's early to the day.
Roll Tide rolls, exactly doing that. Boy, Gary has had a huge impact. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
Down the lane. Lob, Gary. Exclamation point.
We just made a three, now penetrates. Oh, what a shot with a left hand for Jahvon Quinerly.
To Shaq, catch and shoot three. Foul as the shot clock expired.
Ellis. Oh, mark that down. Turnover. Davison with the dunk. And an exclamation point from J.D. Davison. A marquee victory for Alabama to go with the wins over Houston. And of course, Gonzaga, Baylor, 87-78.
Try Green Equipment brings us Coach Nate Oats show. And Coach, you knew going into the Auburn game on the road, frankly, you could play at a level you did against Baylor and still maybe not get the result that you'd want against the Tigers. Unfortunately, you didn't quite match what you did against the Bears, and the Tigers got you.
Yeah, and I think we quite played as hard and as well as we had against Baylor. You know, and we needed to play even better on the road against the #1 team in the country. You know, I'll say, you know, we started the game out well. We had a 4-point lead, you know, 5-6 minutes in the game. Then transition defense hurt us. You know, they opened up a lead in the first half. I thought our guys did a great job coming back to start the second half. Quinerly came out super explosive, really locked in, got us back in it. We cut it to 2, and then we kind of had to go to the bench. And I didn't think our energy, our defensive effort was great. And then they opened the lead back up, and we couldn't get it back. So they're a good team. I mean, they're a really good team, which we knew. You know, we've got to play better than what we did, but hopefully we get a third shot at them in the SEC tournament at some point here in March.
Let's get into the highlights. And Coach, the first 5 minutes of the game, very similar to the first 5 minutes of the second half, in that you seem to have the upper hand. You just couldn't take advantage of it the way you did after intermission.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, we were playing pretty good on defense, and we screwed some offensive sets up. You know, we only had a 4-point lead. I thought it could have been 10. You know, but I thought our half-court defense was pretty good. It was really good to start the game out. We only gave him 1 bucket in transition the first 6 minutes of the game. So, you know, Charles was great defensively. He created out. He had our best defensive efficiency numbers. He's protecting the rim. He's back playing well. You know, him and Keon Ellis were the top 2 kind of efficiency numbers on the defensive end. But, you know, Charles played well for us on defense for sure. Quinerly really got us going there early in the second half. So when he came out super explosive, they kind of went to the zone because they couldn't switch us, and the guards weren't doing a great job on him. The zone caused us some issues. We didn't handle it well early. But, you know, if we can get Quinerly with his swagger back, playing that hard, that well, and he was good against Baylor too. So he's had 2 good games in a row now. So hopefully he's back and we can keep him locked in like this. I like where his attitude's been in practice too.
All right, Coach, when we come back, I've asked you enough. We're going to let the fans ask the coach next here on the Nate Oats Show. Coach, I don't know if Aaron Hepp has run out of games to play with you on the show, but he's just creative. He's come up with something new. It's called Ask the Coach. I know you're glad to hear from somebody other than me, so we're going to get into it. Let's see what folks want to ask you.
These are Aaron's questions or fans' questions?
I think these are fans' questions. I think we're going to see that here.
That'll be a lot better.
Hey, Coach, who's the most blue-collar player you have ever coached?
Sure, Herb Jones would be a great answer to that. He's proven it on the NBA level right now. He's a great answer for Alabama. I had some pretty tough blue-collar players at Buffalo, but Herb Jones is doing it on the NBA level and did it a year or 2.
It's terrific, everything that's happening with Herb. Let's hear another one, Coach.
Hey, Coach, when recruiting, how do you evaluate who's good?
I mean, we go to AAU games, we look at what we're looking for. We want long, athletic, skilled players, and then we do some phone calls and make sure they got the character that we want as well. So it's not an exact science, but we try to do as much homework as we can on that. That's a good question. Spend 30 minutes on that answer if we wanted.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one.
Hey, Coach, when you played college basketball, were you a shooter or a slasher?
Oh, this ought to be good.
I was probably more of a slasher. You know,
Okay.
I was like the blue-collar guy. But I hit 5 threes in a game, though, so we I didn't shoot Shaq Petty numbers, but I had 5 threes in the game when I was in college, so I could shoot it a little bit.
How many did you shoot, though?
Not as many as we do.
Okay.
My coach didn't let us shoot that many.
I'm just checking.
You know, I would have much rather played from this system than the one I played in.
Fair enough.
Hey, Coach, could you ever dunk?
Yeah, of course I could dunk. I'm like 6'2". You gotta be. Yeah, I could dunk. I was actually a better dunker probably like 3-4 years out of college than I was in college, but yeah, I could dunk. I dunked in high school and college.
When's the last time you tried?
Oh shoot, that's been a while. Back when I was a coach at Romulus.
Okay.
When I, dunk on the guys a little bit.
Did it end badly? Is that why you didn't try again?
No, I just can't. I can't get up that high anymore.
You understood. You didn't have to have a horrible proof of it.
No, I didn't have any bad. I just can't get up that high anymore, so I don't try.
Fair enough.
Hey, Coach, what's your favorite memory coaching here at Alabama?
Shoot, that's a good question. Probably with the confetti coming down after that LSU win, the SEC Tournament Championship. The free throws Herb hit with his right hand when the crowd was going nuts against LSU. That was a pretty good memory. I had a lot. Last year gave us a lot of good. The only thing I wish was last year we would have had full crowds. Yeah. We had a full crowd when we knocked off Auburn my first year. They were ranked top 5 and I think undefeated at the time. So the crowd was great that game. We've had some good memories in Coleman because we got a crowd. But that deal where you won the SEC championship, that was a big deal.
A little partial the night you won by 40 or close to it at LSU. That was pretty sweet as well. Do you remember? Let's go one more question.
Hey, Coach, do your daughters ever give you coaching advice?
Well, yeah, everybody gives me coaching advice at home. They all got their opinions. Brielle, my 9-year-old, draws up plays and wants me to run them. So we'll have to see if she gets a good. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
She's drawing one up at her game. I took a picture of it. I don't know where they got that from, but that's Brielle drawing up plays. And I asked her last game. I'm like, Coach, you didn't draw up any plays. She said, no, the coach told me I'm supposed to pay attention to the game when the game's going on.
Fair enough.
But yeah, they all want to give me a little advice.
I understand. That's pretty cool. All right, we're coming back. We've got more. Stay with us here on the Nate Oats Show.
Coming out of high school, McDonald's All-American, being at the top. Being ineligible for a year, having to sit out, kind of being at the bottom again.
I think if anybody knew what Jahvon and his family went through.
Anything is possible, and if you keep pushing, you're going to get to where you want to go. And if you put the work in, the work always going to show. That's what I always tell people. Like, if you put the work in, the work will always show. Coach Oats just brought me into the office, told me, that I was going to be ineligible, and I took it hard. I wanted to play. At my previous school, I didn't play a lot, so I was just very pumped up to come here. Had practice all summer with the team. Pretty much established myself, and then to get hit with that, literally 15-20 minutes before the game even starts. That's something that, I'll never forget. And, it helps me because it makes me appreciate the game a whole lot more. And, I'll never take the game for granted because of, the time away from the game that I had to just sit and watch. But then again, being ineligible, I still had to, work my behind off and make the team better in any way I could and still participate and still be a part of the program. I couldn't just sit there and sulk and, be upset at the world. Life goes on. And, I had a great group of guys around me who kept me up. And, I just made sure I was prepared for the following season when I'd be able to play. I knew that, when Kyra Lewis got drafted, I knew that, I was the next guard up.
Number 13, Jahvon Quinerly.
Just being out there, just you know, being able to play freely, you know, you got a coaching staff and teammates behind you, trusting you, motivating you. So it was definitely good getting back on the court again. I kind of hit my peak towards the end of the year just because I had gotten so comfortable in my role and I just had gotten my feel for the game back. And, you know, it was amazing that everything came together and pretty much my story came full circle. Just winning the SEC championship, changing the culture here at Alabama, having guys like Herb, JP, JB, Reese go out with an SEC championship, you know, that's the right way for those guys to go out. Just everyone that played a part in the program becoming successful, you know, I was just so proud. When I decided to transfer from Villanova, the schools that was reaching out to me, it wasn't a, you know, 20, 25 schools, and B was the first one to call my parents.
I didn't take a chance on you. You took a chance on me, dog.
You know, he didn't have to take a chance on me because I didn't really prove myself while I was there. So that's why I said that to him, and you know, that's why I got Oats back, I got B back, and I got the whole coaching staff back because, you know, those guys took a chance on me. You know, anything is possible, and if you keep pushing, you know, you're going to get to where you want to go. And if you put the work in, the work always going to show. That's what I always tell people. Like, if you put the work in, the work will always show.
With that journey, several different schools, you end up here with this group of brothers.
The job's not finished. We're not done yet.
Congratulations.
Kid's been in the spotlight a long time. That's a tough spot to be in.
No, it's a good point. I mean, he's been nationally recognized as a basketball player for a long time, and it's a lot of pressure that comes on a kid like that. You know, he's McDonald's All-American, and you know, they got thrown into that FBI thing, no fault of their own. They didn't do anything wrong, and you know, he kind of has to decommit from Arizona, goes to Villanova, it didn't work out. So that picture of him and his mom hugging, that gives me like chills. It just, you know, like what she's gone through, their family's gone through, he's gone through, and then he gets the SEC tournament MVP like that. That was special to me for that to happen to him. And he's a really good kid. I mean, he wants his teammates to do well. His brother Jaden's on our team with us. He's a great kid, great family. So I'm happy he's playing well. You know, and he's back. You know, I struggled a little bit at the beginning of this year, but I think he's back. I mean, he's been playing really well here. He's got confidence back like he did in the SEC tournament. So I think he's going to have a great second half of the season and ready to go.
He's an NBA guy, Coach, if he can figure out how to get it night in and night out.
Yeah, the consistency's got to be there a little bit more, but he 100% has NBA skill level. I mean, pass, dribble, and shoot, I don't know if there's a more skilled guard in the country, and with his speed and pace, when he's playing with pace he needs to and can and does frequently, I mean, he's as good as any guard in the country. So we just got to keep him playing at that level the whole time. His defense has been a lot better here lately. He's been up into guys, but you know, really improved his shooting. Last year he shot 50% from three in SEC play. He's only one of 4 players in the last decade to do that. So he's got the full package. He's got the great finishing package, the whole Jelly Fam deal.
Yeah.
And shoots it well, really passes it. His handle's really tight. I mean, he's a great player, and so he's starting to really lead for us too. So I'm happy with where he's at right now. We just got to keep him progressing every day, and the consistency's got to be there, and so far it has for the last couple of weeks.
Look forward to seeing what he does down the stretch along with the Crimson Tide. We'll talk more about what lies ahead for the Crimson Tide next. Coach, we talked about the 3 games in a row, 2 of them out of the way, Baylor, Auburn, now Kentucky, before you face Ole Miss. And not that that's a piece of cake, but in terms of the murderer's row, so to speak, Kentucky, the back end of it.
Yeah, we got the third one out of those 3 top 5s in a row, so Kentucky's good. I mean, they had Auburn on the ropes. You know, they didn't have a full squad. They'll probably have their full squad against us. You know, they obviously weren't the Kentucky everybody recognizes last year. They went and reloaded. They got the best rebounder in the country, and Sheway, they got one of the best shooters in the country. And Grady transferred in, and then they got Wheeler, who's one of the quickest, best point guards in the country. So you got 3 transfers. They added their starting lineup that really bolstered what they needed. You know, Brooks is playing like everybody thought Brooks was going to be playing at the 4. You know, and then, I mean, they've got a good starting lineup. They got good bench play. They're a good, really good team. And we're going to got a major problem. They're dealing with Sheboy. He's averaging over 15 rebounds a game. I mean, he's a load. You know, Davion Mintz is back playing well. He's shooting the ball well. So they're good. Ole Miss, going to be another road game. You know, we've obviously played a lot better at home here this year. You know, they've got some talent. They've beaten some good teams. They, I mean, I haven't really got into them much, and they haven't played a ton of teams that we played where I've watched a lot of their games. But, you know, Dacian Ruffin, the guard right there, you see he's one of the better freshman guards in the country. And, you know, I think maybe the first McDonald's All-American that Ole Miss signed. So they've got a good team. Brakefield transferred from Duke, so they're good. We got 2 good games here sitting here in front of us.
Even more weapons than what you faced in Mississippi State and in Georgia, as we've talked about, or not Mississippi State, Missouri, excuse me, in Georgia. Gave you problems. Coach, always appreciate the time. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you right here on the Nate Oats Show.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,